How's it? Bear with me. I'm trying to go live on like 100 things. So, okay, so now we're live on YouTube, on Facebook, and someone says I'm.
You need to put on headphones.
Why do I need headphones?
Oh, because there's an echo. Also, someone said that you don't age. So you got lots of good comments coming in here. You don't age. You need headphones. Whoever said he doesn't age hasn't talked about me and how. I mean, maybe you've never seen me before, but I think it would be fair to say I also don't age because you've only ever seen me at this age, and I haven't aged in the time you've seen me. So, yeah.
Am I still echoing, guys?
Oh, just I have an echo. Maybe I need to take out the headphones. Or do we still have an echo? Is there still an issue?
Someone somewhere will always. Somebody somewhere has a has an echo in their house.
Are we doing the thing that like everyone's talking about on Instagram Live right now, where it's like old people who can't figure out technology? So, like the baby face Teddy Riley thing. Oh.
That would be terrible. So.
Oh, it's cool now. Okay. Someone said it's cool now. We good.
Okay, so what I now need to figure out. Let me pop into my Facebook.
See, now I need to put these cameras close so that nobody feels left out. So I'm looking at both cameras at the same time. Ooh, if only I could do like a lizard thing where I could just like, you are the someone somewhere.
It's the baby sleeping.
He is sleeping.
That's good.
He is sleeping. My husband has the monitor, but we shall see. We shall see. I'm not allowed to laugh too loudly because it might wake him.
Okay, so I've got. Fuck. There's a string key. There's a saver. There's a. Listen, I hope it is live out there somewhere.
Man, people are commenting on some of it anyway, so some people are seeing us. Put your pants on, everybody. It's like that thing where you're like, no one's seeing me. I can have my pants off still. It's fine.
You know what? I hope we're live out there somewhere. I don't know. So I've got comments here. So I guess I'm live on Facebook. My sister is here. So Lorraine, just copy and share or paste the live thing. Okay, you left the other place. Okay. So when last were you in South Africa? No, you shouldn't have to. Just press the link I sent you. And there you are.
Backstage. Now I'm on the show. Okay, we got it.
Yeah, and there's a guy, if you check the comments on StreamYard, there's a guy, David Odihambo. Every single live that I do, he's here. He's in Mombasa in Kenya.
This is on which comments? On the Insta or the other one?
On StreamYard.
Oh. I don't see any of these comments. Oh, wait, live comments. There we go. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm watching. Hey, we'll be here until the baby wakes up. Okay, yay.
I'm trusting my sister to tell me we're live on Facebook because she's always on Facebook.
Oh, Lorraine, thank you. I just saw your comment that I'm pretty. Okay.
So Lorraine is my sister.
Hi, Lorraine. I figured with the last name.
Yeah.
How are you? How's South Africa?
Kenneth Nkosi. So Man, it's weird how now everything has become about Corona, right?
I know.
Everything is about
The filter
forcing
through which we live our
lockdown.
lives.
Yeah, and it's just crazy. You almost can't have a conversation without it, especially if you're speaking to someone that you haven't spoken to for some time.
Yeah.
Then I'm gonna ask you how's lockdown in LA, and you're gonna
I
ask
know,
me how's
right?
lockdown. So our lockdown has been very weird because we were kind of cut and paste because obviously the thing happened in China and then the States and then Italy and all these other places people started dying. So I think we officially went. So we had a 2 week of stay home, social distancing,
Uh-huh.
but not lockdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we had a 3 week lockdown.
That's how it was here too. At first, they're
Then,
like, "It's going to be 2 weeks," and then everyone's like,
yeah,
"We could do that, no
yeah.
problem." And then they just kept those doors locked more and more and more.
Yeah, basically. And then the second one, in the second week of the 3 weeks, the president announced an extension of 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, they said now we're going into levels. Level 5 is like total lockdown. Level 4, it's some people went back to work. There's a
Okay.
curfew, 8 p.m. And now in about, I think June 1st, we're going to level 3.
Okay. So you're getting better and
Which
better.
is more people going to work. But all this time, right, alcohol has been banned in
I
South
heard,
Africa.
and I was like, "What are they thinking?
Yeah.
Give people something."
So for 2 months, you couldn't buy. Nobody had access to alcohol. Nobody had access to cigarettes, or buying them legally. So, but now when they first announced the total lockdown, we could only buy food. We couldn't, for some reason, right? You couldn't buy condoms.
What was it? What are they thinking? I don't understand the thoughts behind this.
So all the shops and supermarkets had barricaded like the condom section. Wait.
They put a condom around the condom section.
But then they also barricaded gardening equipment.
What? Like, I just would love to know. Like, I feel like maybe they were drunk when they were deciding. They're like, "We'll take all the alcohol, we'll drink it all, we'll decide what we're gonna barricade, and then we'll figure out afterwards."
Yeah.
Gardening equipment?
So now it was the weirdest thing. So gardening equipment. So they barricaded a few sections in the supermarkets, alcohol, and then we're like, what the hell? Then condom section, lubricants, and then like gardening equipment and manure.
Wow, they don't want anyone making like I
thought maybe there's a connection.
There's no confusion. What gardening? I'm like, here's the thing.
There might be a connection between having sex in the garden, using condoms, and coronavirus.
They thought that's what would make it spread.
I thought maybe there was an unexplained connection there somewhere. I don't know. We never figured it out.
They're allowing people.
But now, yeah. So now.
Oh, we have a lot.
Okay, you go. It's fine.
Okay. They, just to compare, here in LA, everyone has to stay home. The lockdown is extended to end of June or end of July. You can go and get food. Restaurants are allowed to give you to-go alcohol, which has never been allowed ever before. So you can go to a restaurant and be like, "I'll also take a margarita," and they make you a margarita in a to-go cup, and you just drive it home. Weed dispensaries are open because it's been deemed an essential thing. So in California, they're like, "Look, you got to stay home, but we're going to let you guys party at home all you want." So now there's actually a condom shortage because everybody is just drinking, smoking, and getting busy.
Are you serious?
Yeah. Oh my God. Very different realities that we're living.
So, I mean, South Africa, the alcohol thing has been driving people crazy.
Yeah.
There's been obviously bootleg alcohol, either people selling or people getting arrested for selling. But also prices of stuff went like 3-4 times the price. So like you would buy like a 6-pack of Savannah for like $300 or like a bottle of wine for like 600 Rand, 900 Rand.
Wow. People really needed to want to drink.
But the funny thing is, obviously, everybody thought they had enough alcohol
for 2 weeks.
They had enough of everything for the first 3 weeks and then the 2 weeks. So now in total with the levels, and we're like, I think day 61 now.
Mm-hmm.
So 2 days ago, they announced people can now buy alcohol from June 1st, Monday to Thursday, right? Okay. But while the condoms were still blocked, they announced that people can buy baby clothes.
They were like, look, we made a mistake. We forgot that everyone now is pregnant. You can provide for your baby now. What? I mean, it's so backwards. It's so backwards.
But I mean, obviously, nobody knows pretty much nothing, People, everybody's like clutching straws. Some research apparently here and there, that doctor, that facility, nobody trusts World Health Organization. I don't.
Some of us take advice from Trump. Oh God, don't take advice from Trump. Never. One piece of advice: do not take advice from Trump.
Corona has just been nuts. It's besides all of us being unemployed, it's just been crazy. And then suddenly the whole country had to start homeschooling their kids. And,
I know.
And homeschooling is not that big yet in South Africa. So parents were like losing their minds. And then some would start drinking at like 10 in the morning and then teach their kids.
There's 600 baht wine. Not baht, RMB.
And then teach their kids, right? And so now when we went into lockdown, we had about 55 positive cases. And maybe 1 death. Coming out, at least with the announcement 2 days ago, we are on about 22,000 cases, 1,000 and something infections a day.
So people aren't staying home? Is this?
Between flattening the curve and then more people are being tested and then winter is starting. Right. So of the 22,000 cases so far, over half of them are all in the Western Cape or in Cape Town.
What? But why?
I don't know. Hey, it could be that people there are privileged. They travel a lot. I don't know. Nobody knows.
They're like, no one's going to tell us to stay home. We're going out to the sea.
Yeah, like you just get numbers. You don't get race or breakdown or like who's got and where,
But also, like,
so
if you test more, you're going to have more cases. Like, there's some places I feel like they're just not testing, and they're like, look, we're doing great. And you're like, well, are you? Because people are probably just sick. You just don't have those stats. So if you test more, you're going to have, you know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a country next door to us, Lesotho. And Zimbabwe. Lesotho apparently have tested like 30 people and then they came out of lockdown a few days ago.
They're like, we good.
Got 0 cases.
They tested 30 people.
So they lifted their lockdown like 2 weeks ago. Zimbabwe, I don't even think they've had 1 test. I don't think so. I could be wrong. I stand to be corrected. Unless it's self-testing. So
This is where, like, when you learn about stats, like, people put so much weight and, you know, belief in statistics. And you're like, okay, so the stats are going down, but, like, why? You know what I mean? Lesotho tested 30 people. Yeah, so, well, then their stats are good. No wonder. Leave Lesotho alone.
But obviously, Africa in general has had quite low cases in most countries anyway, you know? And most countries didn't really go into full lockdown. But even in South Africa, in the townships, some townships, life is pretty much normal. For like a few weeks, the soldiers were beating up people and arresting people. But some people are like living in a shack and there's like 8 of them and there's like 6 shacks in one yard.
Yeah.
In one of the townships. So you, even if you wanted, you can't sit people in a room all day long, and you still have to go outside if you need like a bathroom or toilet or whatever.
Yeah. I think, don't you think it's because like people, like I feel like a lot of the spread is happening from people who feel privileged and are like, I can't get the disease. I'm a rich whatever person and I'm going to travel and do the things that I want to do. And in the townships, that's not the attitude. So people are like, we're just going to live our normal life. And like those people who are infecting everybody aren't going into the townships.
Yeah. So pretty much we're saying that. There was a meme going around saying, how would you feel you've never ever left the country? You don't even have a passport and you are getting a disease that comes from overseas.
Like they're like, oh, I feel like I've been to China now. I got this virus. It's beautiful. China's lovely. Beijing, lovely. The wall, the Great Wall. Experiencing international. Happy belated Africa Day too. I forgot to say that off the top. You. I don't really even know what it is. I just, you know, I'm like, all of the continent is just like, yay, and then for one day.
Yeah, I think pretty much maybe it's the second year or third year I hear about it. But there's like always something that springs up. You know, there's like Women's Day, there's International Women's Day, but there's only like one Father's Day.
That's all you get. That's all you get.
Then because there's Africa Day, then there's Africa Month, right?
Is it Africa Month now?
Then there's Women's Month. I mean, Women's Day, and then there's also Women's Month in South Africa, which is August.
Oh,
and then in October, it's Awareness Against Women and Child Abuse Month.
Okay.
I don't know.
Are you saying all this to complain that men only have one day?
No.
So if you're like an African woman, you get 2 months. You get Africa Month and you get Women's Month.
And you get Women's Day.
And you get Mother's Day.
Women's Day. And you get Mother's Day.
Great. I love it.
Yeah.
And so I'm just trying to figure out how women can take over all the months of the year. Like how else can we get in and pull something?
There's so many things. I mean, obviously some people have maternity leave. Could you take maternity leave in your career?
From who?
Like,
you know, who's paying me?
Yeah.
I go to the clubs.
How old
hey guys,
is
I can't do any shows, but if you could just send me a couple dollars every week, just let me stay home. They were not into it. He's
How
10
old
months.
is your baby now?
10 months.
10 months. And then how long was it? When last were you on stage before you gave birth? And then how long after you gave birth?
So I did comedy until I think a few days before I went into labor. So I was real pregnant on stage, like 9 months pregnant, waddling up like, all right, everybody, let's talk. And then because I had my album that I was going to be recording in November, I gave birth in July. So I was back on the stages, 2.5 months afterward, because I had to get back out there and practice the muscle. So I didn't have a very long time of actual rest as far as not working at all. But because of because the way our jobs work, it's not like I have to go to work 9 to 5 every day or something. It's like I can go to a show in the evening for an hour or two, and that can be my, and I was working on material I already had. It wasn't like I was trying out new stuff. So it was trying to get it all sorted for the album. So I didn't have much of a maternity leave, but now, Now it's like everyone's on maternity leave.
So comedy albums are not that popular in South Africa, right? There were times when a lot of DJs would take audio from your video or from whatever show, and then they would play that on radio.
Okay.
But I don't even think there's like one person in South Africa that has actually released a comedy album.
Really? I didn't know that.
Which is just, yeah. So you must put your link in the StreamYard comments thing. So put the link to where people can buy or listen to the album.
How do I put a comment in here?
Where it says post comment.
I don't.
And then you must send it to me as well. Then I'll
okay, I'm going to send it to you because I can't find the post comment. Having issues. I just see private chat with the host and other guests. I can put it there.
Change it to all. So you can change it to all. Oh, this is cool. So all the comments can also go up. So, you were here in what, 2000 and... Was it 2016 when you were here?
I was there 2015 and 2017.
Is it?
2015 and 2017. Because we met at Just for Laughs, and then it was like a year or two, or maybe that year that I came. I can't remember. It was like shortly after, right?
Yeah. So your dad is Nigerian, right?
Yeah, my dad is Nigerian. My brother and I were both born there, but we grew up in Canada.
And is your mom from Canada?
My mom is so Canadian. You've seen my mom. She's like the whitest, blondest lady who's ever lived.
Yeah.
She's so... There, I put the thing in the private chat.
Oh, okay. I'll find it and then I'll copy it and blah blah blah.
Hi, Mojak.
Oh, is Mojak there?
Yes. Did you know that he came? He was in LA for my birthday 2 years ago, and he came to my birthday party in my home in LA. We had a great time.
Really?
Yeah. He just happened to be here when that was happening. It was great.
Yeah, he goes around, that guy. Mojak, I'm gonna send you a link.
Everywhere.
So I can actually send him the link.
That link I sent you is a smart link that lets people, whatever, it shows all the places you can get it. So it's like iTunes, Pandora, Spotify. So you can just go on whatever you want and get it.
Mojak, please type your email address. I'm gonna. This
so
is what
everyone
we can do with this stream. No,
and your home address and your social security.
Well, I've got mine in my profile actually, and my Facebook. Yeah.
Oh man, I get some weird
quite strange
emails from people.
Yeah, I get some strange emails nowadays. People are asking me if I can buy them food as well.
Oh, I get ones like I played a teacher on a TV show called Degrassi, and I had all these people messaging me being like, what would you do if I was your student? I misbehaved. Would you put me in detention? Would you spank me? And I was like, oh, delete. It was so hilarious. It was so bad. At first I was like, oh, I have fans. What a wonderful thing. And I was like, oh God, no.
Ruben Paul is here. Did you meet Ruben with me? You know Ruben Paul?
No, I've met him briefly, but I don't know. Where is he? He's in here. Hi, Ruben.
He's on the Insta. He's the one who kind of taught me StreamYard vibe.
Oh.
And Jean Paul. You know Jean Paul
from Toronto, yeah.
Yeah, they're here somewhere.
Hi, Jean Paul.
Oh, they're here. But Jean Paul says comedy albums are not big anyway.
Were you on Degrassi with Drake? I was not on Degrassi with Drake.
What's that? Is that like an album?
Degrassi is a TV show, a Canadian, like a famous Canadian TV
soapy
show.
Soapy that Drake became famous on.
Drake was on it. He was in a wheelchair. He was
the entire show.
I think most of it. He like got shot, I think, or something, and then he was in a wheelchair, and that was like, that's how he was for most of the show. I don't know. I didn't watch that those seasons. It's been around forever, though. I watched it when I was a kid, and then it has been going since then. It's crazy.
So Mojak says, sending love to Aisha and you too, Dave. I mean, you kind of thought about it.
This is great. I love
when you do a comedy album, will you do a special for the same material, or you'll just keep it as a comedy album?
So I also, we recorded video on the nights that I recorded the audio. So we have the video, it's edited, and All Things Comedy, who's the production company, Bill Burr and Al Madrigal's production company, they're going to release it on their site in July. So I'll have the special coming out in July, and the album is out now, but it's the same basic material. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I've never tried. I mean, I've thought of taking some audio stuff. Look, with lockdown and unemployment, I've thought of so many. Let me tell you one of the ideas I've thought about, right? My first DVD came out maybe 12 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I'm not gonna do stand-up comedy into a camera or into a laptop.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea that I'm playing with now, I'm gonna play my first DVD on TV
and react.
It will play in the background, and then I'm gonna mime my entire album to a live platform.
I'm here for this. I will tune in for this.
So now I'm gonna have to go and rehearse first, right? And then the lines for my first stand-up and all the beats. It'll be like a 1-hour TikTok.
I love this idea. I genuinely love this idea.
I'm thinking about doing it.
I want you to. I also
because it kind of kills.
If you're going to be miming it, I want you to also have some sort of choreographed dance that represents the jokes as well. Like perhaps at some point, like you're talking about sex and you have a sexual dance. You know what I mean? That goes with it. I want the whole. I want pyrotechnics. I want everything. If you're doing it, do it. You know.
But I'm seriously thinking about it. And then I've got a show I recorded. I've got a special I recorded 6 years ago that I never released. So I'll be looking at it and deciding. I had too many options. There was a time I had too many options.
Oh, I just had too many.
But
options. I was too big of a star.
Look, I filmed. I filmed a lot of things, right?
Uh-huh.
And I've filmed almost all the Blacks Only shows, but they've never been released anywhere. Some of them 1 camera, some 6 cameras, some 3 cameras. I've filmed a lot of stuff where I was on tour, behind the scenes, traveling with other comics, traveling by myself. So I'm just literally looking at all the footage, and so I might do a documentary either on myself or on Blacks Only or myself and other comics or whatever. So I'm still looking at all the footage, but also just the confusion of lockdown. The first 3 weeks, I was shooting skits every day. I was posting every day on Twitter, on Instagram, posting on YouTube. And then they came with the extension, and then I was like,
everyone just slowly. I did a 4x4 or a 2x2 picture of my attitude of the lockdown. Week 1, I was you're ready to go. Week 4, I was like, okay, I can handle this. Week 6 is just you're when is this going to end? You're tired. And by the 4th picture, I was just this is my life now. We have to move on with this. We just got exhausted from it all. And now we're how do it feels like a full circle. At first I was gung-ho, then I lost interest and was angry. And now I'm back into well, this is what it is. Then this is what it is. Let's figure it out. Let's do a mime of your previous special on social.
You know how I described it to Robbie Collins?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I love Robbie.
So I said, South Africa's lockdown has been there's the first movie that they make, right? And everybody kind of loves the movie. And then they announce the sequel.
Mm-hmm.
Well, because the first one is doing so well. And then the sequel came, which was our extra 2 weeks. And then it was just shit, right?
Yeah. Never make a sequel.
Then they announced that Hobbs and Cobbs or whatever shit is coming out, which was the levels, which is just shit, you know. They shouldn't have done it under the franchise. It should have been a standalone movie.
There's no way with this lockdown that if they said in the beginning, like maybe they knew it's going to be 2 months. If they said to people, you're going to have to lock down for 2 months from day one, no one would have done it. I think it's smart that if they did like 2 weeks at a time, people are like, I can do that. And then they said, okay, maybe another 2 weeks. And people were like, well, okay. By the end of that, at least we've saved some lives. You know what I mean? I mean, Lesotho, they didn't have to worry about it because they only have 30 tests. But everybody else is, worried about the lives and whatnot.
So what I heard, what was possibly the reason here in South Africa, right? Maybe all over, is the actual act or the Disaster Management Act or whatever the act is called.
Yeah.
Where kind of like the state of emergency type. You can't announce it for more than 3 weeks at a time in terms of legality and constitutionality. So this is what I heard. It was kind of planned that, listen, we're just going to give it to them.
It makes sense. It's the only way. Here there's people protesting. You know what I mean? Like it's the only way you could get people to even cooperate a little bit. Now, everyone's not cooperating still, but most people. Do you guys have to wear masks there?
So now we're being forced to wear masks when we leave the house. Because of the different levels, but it was always kind of like, look, you can wear like a scarf or you just need to cover your nose and your mouth. But now it's like it's almost like illegal now if you're going out to a public place and you're not wearing a mask, which is quite controversial in itself because one, you're breathing your own carbon dioxide. And depending on the type of mask also you have to wear. So now there's a lot of guys at the traffic lights, South Africa, at the robots.
Robot.
At the robot that are selling masks, right? Because they sell everything at traffic lights.
They can sell you a car at the traffic light.
Your own car, for that matter. or the car behind you.
You want to keep your car? Then pay me some money.
So someone was selling masks at the robot at a traffic light, and the person who was buying was trying out 4 different masks before they picked the 5th one.
We're all going to die. We're all going to die.
So they tried the mask and gave it back to the person, took another one.
Why are you even trying masks? Like, this one doesn't look good on my complexion. This is even just selling a mask at a like corner here. I saw someone selling it too, but it's just like nailed to a piece of like a big cardboard. They have the mask on it, and I'm like, so this guy's gonna touch it with his hands, and he's not wearing a mask. The man selling the mask is not wearing a mask. Gonna touch it, give it to you. Like, this is just spreading. We think, oh, we're being safe.
It's been a weird time, and there's just weird shit that keeps happening. And I mean, for South Africa, obviously the issue with alcohol, there's a lot of fights, gun wounds, knife wounds, when people are just normally living their lives. So a lot of the emergency sections at hospitals always have those type of patients or customers or casualties, right? So for the first 3 weeks in South Africa, the crime was literally zero. I think like 250 people who would have normally died in that time didn't die. Obviously, there were 0 car accidents.
Because people were staying home?
Because people were home, and I mean, I guess criminals were also like, I'm not going out there, And also there's like soldiers and roadblocks and police everywhere.
Yeah, I love it.
and then the only crime for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, were alcohol stores being blown up.
Being blown up. Why are they blowing it up? Don't they want what's inside?
No, they were bringing up the entrances into like
okay, that makes sense.
a bottle store, and like those were literally some of the only crimes that we heard of for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. And then there were more, like 3 here, 2 there.
Yeah.
And then people getting arrested, obviously trying to sell alcohol or bootleg cigarettes. And now slowly we know we're getting back into reality because the media has now gone back to their usual write shit about some politician or write shit. There's a black guy who bought 2 days ago, the young black business guy, he bought a Porsche Panamera, Lamborghini 4x4, Porsche Cayenne, I think, a Jeep, and I think 4 or 5 cars all in one day. I'm talking 2-3 days ago, right? They were delivered. You see your face. So this trended on South African Twitter, and then this white journalist pretty much went in and started investigating the guy and starting to pretty much check if there's corruption in his deals. And so we're kind of going back to normality.
Yeah.
You know?
You're like, now we feel at home again.
Now we're starting to, when everyone was together, everybody loved everybody, and everything was cool. So slowly, I think it's going to be worse when we get back, when we go to level 3. So level 4 was like flexible, still no alcohol. Construction people can go back to work. Some takeaway foods could open. Like you can go to KFC or McDonald's outside, right? You can't like come in, but you can Uber. You can Uber order, and then someone will walk out of KFC or McDonald's and bring your food.
Why those places? I feel like of all the places, those are the ones that don't have the cleanest environment for anything. It's like, oh, hi, Doc Comedy.
So it was pretty much Uber Eats, right? So a guy would come out on a motorbike and like 5 meters and come and find
your food to you. Social distancing, take it. Your Big Mac, go, run.
So some places opened. So level 3 will be another. I was hoping we can play golf. You know, all they said was no sports, no gatherings, no shows. But if you think about it, golf is actually one of the few sports that there's absolutely no contact. You can even play by yourself. You know, So we're hoping when the details tomorrow with the minister, that they might say, I know we said you guys can run and jog and walk your dogs. Those of you who want to play golf, Hamban, you can also go and play. I'm hoping so.
Yeah.
Because it's crazy, man.
What did people
the first
doing?
week of lockdown, people were fighting about, can they walk their dogs? That was one of the biggest fights. And you know, when like government comes out, guys, you're all gonna lose your jobs, economy's gonna die, don't go anywhere. And then some white people were like, yeah, but can we walk our dogs?
Who was it? Is it Gillian who had that great Yeah. She had a really funny
Oh yeah, the white people thing.
It was like, but can we walk our dogs? And then they're like, but babe, you don't have a dog. Should we get a dog so we can walk it and all this stuff? She's funny. That was great. That was such a good bit. I loved it.
So, South Africa, man. So, whether we like it or not, people think sometimes we racialize everything or we make everything black and white. So even when we pretend that everything is fine, we are all happy, we won the World Cup, let's just chill and everybody enjoy yourself. Miss South Africa is now Miss Universe. And then there'll always be like that one little thing, like just something will always just be like, hey, don't forget where we are.
Never forget.
So, I saw a taxi driver, I think 2 days ago. Everyone in the taxi is wearing a mask, social distancing, and the taxi driver is not wearing a mask.
He's like, you guys are safe. Everything's fine. But that's all it
You
takes,
can't
right?
even
It's like
tell the
there's
taxi
one.
driver.
I saw a video of people going to the grocery store because the grocery stores are all open, but you have to. They won't serve you unless you have a mask on. And I saw a video just the other day of a woman who went to the grocery store, I think in New York, and she didn't have a mask. And other grocery shoppers had their carts, and they surrounded her and were like, "Get out! Get out! Get out!" And just started yelling. And she was like trying to get out of there, and it was hilarious because everyone was just like freaking out, like, "You get out of here!" And so finally, I think she did leave, but it was like a citizen's arrest almost. You know what I mean? Of everybody just coming together. The mask industry has killed the lipstick industry. Can I tell you? The other day I was like, oh, I was putting lip balm on, and then I was like, why? This is true, David. I was like, why? I'm like, because I'm just gonna put this mask on when I leave. It's gonna smear on the inside. I'm gonna come out and have like that, like, you know, when your grandma has like the smeared lips up here and the smeared lips here. That's gonna be me after wearing the face mask. I always look like a mess right now.
Someone on Insta Live says, "Good to see you back in South Africa."
Yeah, I guess you don't know where I am right now. It's true. This is. I want to come back to South Africa. I miss it. You know, not right now, but I do miss South Africa. Mm-hmm.
Listen, we're all planning some big comeback. Ruben wants to come back. You know, John Paul has never been here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. After this, look, I want to tour Africa more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
So the chances are, if you come back, we'll just connect here, and then we'll be on our way to like Tanzania, Kenya, maybe good. Zimbabwe.
Hi, Rochelle. I'm into it.
So,
what would you guys say to someone who wants to get into stand-up comedy but scared of bombing on stage? I don't know if you're seeing these posts come up, these questions. Someone just said, what would you guys say to someone who wants to get into stand-up comedy but scared of bombing on stage? I would say you can't be scared of it.
So on StreamYard, I can put some of the comments on the screen.
Edgar, just go for it. Go do it. Oh, Thenya's here. Yay.
Yeah, I mean, you. Who's that?
Oh, wait. She's a comedian. She's a comedian here in LA.
Kenya.
She's Canadian, and yeah, Nthenya from Kenya. That's when she came on my show. She's like, you can just say I'm Nthenya from Kenya. She's really funny, very funny comedian. She does a show called, what is it called, Nthenya? It's like Wild, something Wild, and it's a competition show on Instagram Live.
Is it?
Yeah, she's got a cool. It was just I can't remember what it's called. I'm sorry, I'm doing a really bad job of promoting it for you right now. She has a show. It's on Instagram.
Yeah.
What is it called? Nthenya, type in.
She must type it.
Yeah, it's like Call of the Wild or Wild and Funny. It says Wild in the title. That's all I know.
You can actually add more people here. I was trying to find Gino.
Oh my gosh, my brother husband Gino.
Yeah.
Wildly Funny. That's what it's called, her thing.
Wildly Funny.
Yeah. Yeah, put Gino on. Does Gino even have the internet?
That is a very Gino-esque question for Gino to be asked, you know, because it's possible that he might not have.
Right? I love Gino.
Jesus. You killed me. I wasn't expecting that. Man. So do you think LA would open up soon for like stand-up comedy, for live shows or live events?
I don't know. I mean, they keep extending. I think we're pretty conservative as far as like when they're gonna let people back into things here. So they've extended the lockdown until the end of July. So we still have a ways to go. And what that means is that there's going to be no businesses that are open unless they're essential. So like comedy clubs won't be open. You won't be able to have gatherings and stuff like that. We still have to social distance. So I imagine that even when things are opening, there's going to be lots of clubs that don't open right away. You know what I mean? Because it's going to take some time. So
yeah, I think people will just be too scared to go back out there.
And that makes sense. I think that makes sense, you know. So
what are you gonna do? Do you sit and like plan stuff and think about, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'm gonna, because I can tell you in South Africa, we're all studying online shows. We're all going on, you know, it's crazy. It's like all of a sudden, I remembered I have a YouTube channel that I hadn't posted in almost 2 years.
Yeah. I think that, so I've been doing a lot of promoting of the album through podcasts and Instagram Lives, all those kinds of things. So that's been fun. But also I did some like single person sketches where it's just me taking my camera and doing things, which is fun. And I've enjoyed that. I'm thinking about doing some more like character.
Where are you putting out this?
On Instagram, on Facebook, this kind of stuff. Doing some character work. But I also, every Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock, like California time, so like 7 o'clock your time, my friend Sophia, who's another comedian here, she and I go on Instagram to do an Instagram Live called Sophia and Aisha Shout Out. And it's just us shouting out like things that we love, like that have gotten us through the quarantine, because we're like, enough of all this talk, you know what I mean? Like about everything, like let's also have some positivity. And it's been so fun. I'm like, maybe we can do like a podcast when this is all done and just continue on with it, because it's just like, basically it's like we're creating a place where it's just positive, no judgment, happy, happy, happy. And also we're shouting out. So like I shout out David Cow one day, and then we put up a list of all of our shout outs, and people follow you. And then, you know what I mean? Like this kind of thing. So it's just creating more connection, which I'm missing so much, is that connection. So things like that, where I'm like, I want to do things that are specifically career, and like, let's do a show. Let's connect today and do our live, but also just things that are for me, because I miss being positive. I miss connecting with my friends. Like I just want things that are happy and fun too. So
do you want to ask Nthenya if she wants to join us on StreamYard? Then she can actually talk to us.
Yes. Right? How do we do that?
If you can forward her that link I sent you.
Okay, yeah. Hold on.
She can literally just tap on it.
Nthenya, can you text me right now so I can? Oh no, I know what I'll do. I'm gonna copy it from here.
Because she's actually asking a very interesting question. If you're gonna do a drive-in show.
Oh, a drive-in show. I would love to do a drive-in show.
Yeah, because I know another comedian here asked me if we can start looking at something like that.
I gotta find. Okay, hold on.
And I might have to also get out of Instagram.
Oh, because it's taking
so that you can save the thing.
Okay, Nthenya, I sent you a link. Click on that, and then you can be on this other live thing with us.
Yeah, then I'll just add her from here. But I mean, it's like the world just changed overnight, eh?
I know, it's a lot. And it's like, it's kind of cool though, because it's making people be more creative with how they put stuff out and how they connect with fans and stuff, which I like.
Definitely.
Click this and join us stream.
And it's also, the times are also quite interesting, right? Like you can see for us now, a lot of people are watching television. So there's like prime time in South Africa.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll have like tons of people if you're going at like 10 p.m., after 9 p.m., even midnight sometimes, South African time.
Yeah.
Because you can tell people's patterns of now they're on social media, now they're all on Insta Live, and now they're back or they're doing what, you know. And then obviously it's going to change again when lockdown levels change.
Yeah.
When some people, but also, for instance, some students or some people use the internet at work or at school for free or cheaper, right? So you can also then tell some of those people can't afford to always be going live or watching people live or consuming things on the net.
Yeah.
But normally when things were normal, you can tell the pattern when you post stuff from like 7, 8 in the morning. You know, Twitter is busy, Facebook is busy until like 5 p.m., 4 p.m., and then you see the pattern again. So it's also been interesting watching.
Just thinking about like the privilege of having consistent internet and how that would be a thing during this time where everyone's like, well, you can just watch Netflix. But like some people are you know what I mean? It's going to take them forever to buffer and they can't actually just watch it or go live or still be creative in that way. Whereas here I'm like, Wi-Fi, baby. It's like it's everywhere here. You can walk past the McDonald's and just stand outside for free Wi-Fi here.
Or Starbucks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the fastest internet anyone has ever seen. It's like they had 5G all along.
Yeah. The internet makes the coffee and food feel like it tastes better because you're like, ooh, it's so delicious because I can do my texting while I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah, there's Nthenya.
She's here? Yay!
So, yeah, she's here. So
let's put the live then. Right?
Switch. Yeah. So I'm going to end us on the Insta Live. And I'm going to ask everyone to go to Facebook. You can go to my Facebook Live or YouTube, where I'm trying to win back my subscribers.
Now that you've remembered.
And but yeah, right now, guys, we're going to continue live on Facebook and YouTube. Thanks so much for coming, guys. Thanks for joining us. I'll put this up on my Instagram TV. And then we're going to have Nthenya from Kenya, who lives in Canada, who's also a comic. We're going to talk to her. Now. Oh, she lives in LA as well?
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try and find Gino and Moja, because then I can use my phone.
Yes.
Yay. Thank you so much, guys. Cheers. Let me save this. And
let's go.
Here we go.
Now we're back here. Yay!
Hi, Nthenya.
Hi. Yeah, she wrote to me, still in a bonnet. Don't judge me. Love.
I need to figure out your.
Oh, is my sound not working?
I can hear you.
The sound is fine, but your face is, for some reason, is upside down.
Oh, it's right side up on mine.
Oh.
Now you're upside down on mine.
You're sideways in mine.
What? I don't know how to do it.
Oh, wait.
Is it right
better?
now?
Oh, there you are. So, yeah, there you are.
That was amazing.
like, I don't know how to figure this out.
You were just like...
this way? I'm still in a bonnet, so don't judge me.
It looks amazing. It's like a fashion bonnet.
Is that your mask?
This? I wish this was a mask. This is just.
Are those the masks from Kenya?
Oh, it's the mask that I'm from Kenya? No. I was born there. I was born in Nairobi.
Really?
Yep.
There's a guy, he's here now. I think he's watching from Facebook. David Odiambo. Do you know him?
Probably related. Probably. So many Davids.
Oh man,
there are.
How are you? Nice to meet you. Hi, Aisha.
Hi, how are you? It's been so long. I miss you.
I can't hear her.
You can't hear me? Hello.
No.
When last were you in Kenya?
Last September.
How often do you go?
I try to go once a year. My grandmother lives there, and she turned 100 on September 14th. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So I try to see her once a year. Most of my cousins and things like that live overseas, but but yeah, she still lives there. She still lives on her land, like off of her land. Right now she's like in a quarantine. Nobody's allowed to visit her.
Oh wow. Is she okay? She's cool on her own though?
She's on that lockdown, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my grandmother turned 93 during lockdown. I mean, I haven't seen her. I think
Oh,
15th March.
oh
And
my gosh. Well, happy
yeah,
birthday to your grandma.
so she's about 2 hours from here, where I was born, where I come from
Yeah.
2 hour drive from Joburg. So obviously can't see her. Haven't seen my mom for like however long.
You didn't do
And
a drive-by? You didn't
we
go?
can't because I mean I've got a permit, but technically you can't travel across provinces. And
Oh,
there's roadblocks everywhere. I could if I forced matters, but I didn't, because
yeah,
also we are the ones that are putting older people in danger, right?
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So, so because of that, there's a guy who was arrested at a roadblock because he tried to smuggle his girlfriend in the boot. Some of the shit you think I'm making it up, right?
But why was he smuggling? Like, where was he
Wait,
taking
Aisha, I
her?
can't hear
So
you.
because
Oh, you
people
can't hear
are
me?
supposed to travel in
Why
between.
can't you hear me?
I can hear
David,
you. I
can
can
you
hear you.
hear Aisha?
I can hear Aisha.
But she can't hear
Oh, so
me.
then is it something wrong with me?
Is David making us talk through
Maybe it's
him?
mine.
Are you trying to have the power over two women, David, right now?
I know, she's doing this to me and I don't know what she's saying.
I'm gonna
I
type it
want
to
to hear
you.
her clap back at me, but I can't. I can't hear it. I don't know. I must have done something.
I don't know.
But if you can hear her, then I guess we're good. I don't know. I
I
don't know what
can hear
happened.
her. Yeah. I mean, I can hear all of you.
Oh, and she
Maybe.
can hear me and you, right? Huh. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So, okay,
And,
sorry. So this guy tried to smuggle his girlfriend in the trunk of his car.
and I mean, they literally found the girlfriend with her handbag in the boot of
Well, here's the thing. If she didn't have her purse, I would have been more suspect that he had kidnapped her. Because
Yeah.
that's what, you know what I mean? But if you're like, okay, now let me just get my purse, let me make sure my phone's charged, and you get in, and you're like, they were in cahoots, they were together.
One person who was also arrested trying to move from Gauteng to another province, he claimed he was going to see his grandmother, or grandmother had died, but he was trying to go see a girlfriend in another province. So let me tell you. So all these people are being arrested, right, for breaking all these laws. Like literally, because you jogged outside the hours, you're not at home when you shouldn't be. But
Yeah.
prisoners started protesting because they were getting infected. But if you think about it, they've been on lockdown the whole time, so they were being infected by prison warders or by
That's a big thing here because they're getting infected and dying from the prison, the guards coming in and like spreading, and they can't socially distance.
So here, the prisoners, there's about 27,000 prisoners that are being released,
Oh.
and then the other people are being arrested for.
The free people. That's funny.
Oh man, ridiculous.
It's like you wake up sometimes and you're like, it's like you're in a sitcom,
Yeah. That's funny.
It's crazy.
Oh, look at Nthenya's house. This is
People
nice.
cannot deal with not having freedom. It's like not being able to go places. It's I mean,
crazy.
I've had friends who have literally thrown a tantrum, and I'm like, where are you going? Like, you can't go to work. Our industry is closed. Like, studios are closed. We're not filming anything. So your panic attack is just so bizarre. Like,
It's
like
nuts,
what is it? What's the plan here? Now that you're outside, now what? Right?
Which part of LA are you in, Nthenya?
I live in like north of Hollywood. Like I live in the Valley, if you've heard of the Valley. Like a Valley girl.
Me too.
Yeah. I live in the Valley. So there's definitely less and I'm sure Aisha would agree, like less traffic. Like Hollywood is very congested. Like I accidentally drove there the other day and oh gosh, it was like a war zone. Like I felt like I was in Bosnia or like, you know what I mean? Like I was just like, what is this? It was people outside, like pitched
You
in
mean
tents,
now,
just
during lockdown?
oh, the streets were crowded. I like somebody touched me and I almost died. Like I almost was just like, oh, this is it. I'm gonna die. Like I told my husband, I was like, I don't know if I can come home because somebody touched me. And I was like, I've seen people eating outside, like on a bench, like the bus stop bench. Somebody was just eating outside in the open. I was like, isn't that illegal? That's got to be illegal. Like, it was very nerve-wracking.
Are you hearing like any stories about Kenya while you're there, or like are there any crazy stories, or what people are doing? Are they like observing the
Most
lockdown?
people, a lot of people that I know, like my cousins who do live there, are observing the quarantine. They're staying. There's for the most part, right? Like a lot of what I do see is that they kind of hang out together. Like they'll go to someone's house and then it'll be like 6 people, which is, I guess, technically not a large gathering, but it's still, you know, because if then these 6 people go hang out with those 6 people and
it's the social
whatever,
bubble.
but
it's like you have to figure out how many people. Oh wait, can you hear me? Oh my gosh,
I can hear you.
Oh wait, but can you? Yeah, you can hear me now. No, she can't hear me. But it's like you can. Before people were like, okay, I'll just stay home with my family, and now that it's been so long, they're like, well, my cousins also just been staying home with their family. So if we all hang out, then our bubble is just all of us. And then as it goes longer, then like this bubble's like, yeah, but then also our grandmother needs someone to come hang out. So we'll just go, like the bubble just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And it's like, you know, the longer we wait, the bigger the bubble's going to be. But also I have to go. I think my kid just woke up. So I have to go 10
It's okay. That's okay.
But I love this. Let's do this again. Let's do this more. I want one with Gino on. I want one with Mojak on. I want one with Tats on. Like I want to let me connect with all you South African lovelies. I miss you guys.
No, schedule another one later this week. If it depends on you, really.
Yeah,
tell me.
This is a good time at 10:30 because that's when he sleeps. So
yeah, and I'm also trying to get in touch with other African comics. Doesn't matter whether they're in LA or in Africa, because there's guys that have started a circuit in Tanzania. You know, I've known Churchill forever. You know, in Kenya.
Oh,
and
okay. I know people who know him.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it's the David that you were just talking about.
Well, there's that David as well.
Is his Instagram called David the Student?
He must answer because I think I know he was here.
Bring him on.
His name is David Odiambo. Okay, babes.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
So good. I'm gonna message you, and we're gonna do it again soon. Nthenya, David, all the people. Thanks for tuning in.
Say hi to Becky and everybody.
Will do. Say hi to fams. Okay. Bye.
See you soon. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. So how long have you been in LA, or did you go straight from Kenya to LA?
No, actually, I moved to LA about 6 years ago from Charleston, South Carolina. My family lives in South Carolina right now, but we originally moved to Canada. So that was the first move, was from Kenya to Vancouver, and then Vancouver to South Carolina, which is
How old were you
interesting.
when you left Kenya?
I was 3.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of traveling, I guess. I mean, pretty much you are like a citizen now. You should have your green card, your pink card, your black card,
Yeah, I got all the cards. Pink,
you have all the
black.
cards right now. And are you married? You said you married, right? You mentioned your husband.
Yes, yeah, I'm married.
I'm trying to get to a question. Don't worry. Is he American or is he from Africa or whatever?
He is African American, so or Black American, as they
I'm trying to
say.
figure out if he had to pay a dowry. You know, in South Africa, it's called
Yeah.
lobola.
Uh-huh.
Did he have to go through all the rituals to kind of get you to be his wife?
So my parents didn't formally make him pay a dowry, even
Yeah.
though like my mom is so funny because she goes back and forth. She's like, you know, I should ask for that dowry, and it's like it's late. What? Like, Mutindi, you missed your opportunity. You missed our opportunity. Like, I could have gotten something new.
You should have got some of that money, right?
Exactly. But no, they
And
didn't make him do a formal dowry, but they did like a symbolic one with the goats, you know, like you give 3 goats and then one is slaughtered, but then one is a male and a female, and they're supposed to, you know, I'm sure you've heard the whole thing, but yeah, they did a symbolic dowry.
How did they do it? Did you guys have to go back to Kenya, or you guys could do that in LA, or it was just
we did it in Kenya. We had a traditional Kenyan wedding. Yeah, I wanted it to be. I wanted my grandmother to be there. That was really important for me, and she told us like 5 years ago that she was not traveling anymore. So like the only option was to be there in Kenya, which I was happy to do, because it felt, you know, very much like, I don't know, like I just love being in Kenya. So it was a wonderful opportunity to be there, to take my friends who have never been to, you know, any part of Africa to Kenya, to my home, and his family all flew over. So it was really nice it was their first time in Kenya, let alone Africa. So it was nice to share this once in a lifetime experience with these, you know, people. Who obviously had a very huge culture shock. They're like, what?
You can see that message, right, from David.
Oh, what is it? Hi, Nthenya. Tell that guy to bring I will. I'll let him know.
Never too late, man. Never too late, right?
It's never too late.
How long have you been? How long have you been a stand-up comedian?
I've been performing stand-up for almost 4 years, but I started writing first, actually. So I took the weird, the back route. I was writing for a fellow comedian, because I write sketches and I write so I was sort of writing, you know, like character stuff and helping a friend who is a stand-up comic write for about a year. And then my friend sort of went through what everybody goes through when they do stand-up, where they're just like, why am I doing this? You know, like, should I continue? You sort of, there's always a point in your stand-up journey where you question what the goal is, what, you know, what you want to do. And she had sort of gotten to that point and had quit. So I was sort of left.
Then you had all this material.
Huh?
Then you had all this material that you
were...
I
sort of left, holding a bag of jokes and stuff. And I was like, oh, well, you know, maybe I should just try it. Like, what's the harm in trying it? So I just was like, okay. And
awesome.
Yeah.
And
how about you?
I started about 21, 22 years ago.
Oh my gosh. You're like, you're in your second, like, you've retired, you've done it, you've retired, you're back. What are you, MJ? What is this?
So yeah, it's been a crazy ride. I'm trying to figure out if I'm writing a book. I want to write a book. I should write a book. I want to do audio book first because I don't want to write.
Yeah.
And then write it backwards. So, but it's been a long ride. It's been It's been a fantastic ride. And
21 years. Oh my gosh.
so
That doesn't even seem possible. Like,
it seems impossible now when I think about it. It's like such a, because I mean, a lot of people I meet, especially lately, maybe 7 years, some 4 years, and then some guys that I've, maybe known since I kind of started. But like average, a lot of comics would say 10 years, 11 years, 7 years. But I do know guys that have been like even longer than me, But
wow.
for me, I was 21 years ago. It will be 22 years in October, but we've written off 2020, right?
Yeah. Yeah, 2020 does not, this year doesn't count. It's like BC, like before Corona, like before Christ, like that's how we're gonna delineate time.
Anno Domino.
Yeah. Oh, you remember those times? Yeah. Yeah.
Here's a funny question.
Yeah.
You answer the question.
Oh, this one? How did you two meet, actually?
You can answer the question. It's hilarious to me.
Well, we haven't met in person yet, formally. We met on the internet. We met about 20 minutes ago on Instagram Live. Where I was being a creep on Aisha, and I was like, ooh, what's she up to? Who's she talking to? What is she doing? And then I creeped on there, and you guys were having a wonderful conversation, and I was being that person in the chat. That was like, hi.
I met Aisha about 4 years ago in Montreal.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were in a special, a TV special together at one of the shows at Just for Laughs. That's how we met when we met. And then I've seen her in LA because I would come back and forth. Well, I was trying to travel almost once or twice a year. I'd either go to New York or go to LA, or I'll go to Montreal and then I'll, swing around the state around that time, June, July, August. So, and then I met her here once in South Africa because her dad used to teach here. And but there's like there's a community we need to kind of just build and put it together nicely, and then we can all start touring,
Yeah, I agree. There's definitely that opportunity,
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that that there are people like you that want to connect and actually, bring this tour to Africa,
We have to. Do you know Basket Mouth?
Do I know who?
Basket Mouth.
Oh, I've heard. I don't know him, but I met somebody who's a Nigerian comic. Who told me about him and was like, "Oh, you should meet this." Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I was like, "I've never heard of this person." But
there's quite a scene, quite a big scene actually in South Africa. I mean, South African comedy now is huge, And then Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana a little bit, and then Tanzania just kicked off, and then obviously Uganda, Kaisine Ann. So there's quite a few guys that we've met or worked with, or we know each other. I knew Churchill for about 10 years before I met him.
Really?
Yeah. And I mean, you can imagine that was even before social media, right? So I knew him through someone, then we chat on the phone now and then. And then he came to South Africa a few years ago for a Comedy Central comedy festival. And that was the first time I met him.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, but we have to, someone has to do something. If we don't, no one will. You know how it goes. So, but are your skits on? Do you still do sketches or film?
I do. I'm going to post them. I've always been one of those people that's like, I'll create things and then I'll put them like sort of in one place. Like Funny or
Yeah.
Die is usually where I put my sketches. And
Yeah.
then since I'm an actress as well, I've sort of kept my sketch comedy off of my Instagram. Just because my former management sort of wanted to
Separate.
yeah, they wanted to portray me in a different way, and like my sketch comedy sort of makes me a different kind of actor. And so I've in the past I've kept those things separate. Like I put sketch on one forum, and then just sort of like my acting and my lifestyle on Instagram. But I'm taking a new direction, and I'm gonna start posting my sketches, so that's gonna be fun.
And what about? I just started following you on Instagram.
Yes.
What about YouTube? Are you big on YouTube?
I'm not on YouTube.
Okay.
I'm one of those. I'm like, I'm a young comic, but I feel like my brain is super old. Like I'm like 70 inside of my head. I cannot like I get YouTube, and I know that it's important, but I don't want to put in the effort to garner that audience, really. Like for whatever reason my brain just goes, I don't know.
Have you? But you've got the content, right? You've shot stuff. It's sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Facebook.
I'm on Facebook.
Okay. Are you posting your sketches?
No. Oh, they only go on Funny or Die.
We're gonna have a coming out party for you.
You have a what?
We're gonna have a coming out party for you.
I know.
When you start posting your sketches, we'll have viewing parties because you can do that now, right?
Yes, we will. Oh, that would be so fun for like each of us to bring a sketch and then have like a viewing of it. That would be
That's a cool idea.
David,
That's a
that is an
cool
amazing
idea.
idea.
Oh no, shit, let's do that. We must plan that.
Let's do that.
Yeah, Aisha is filming sketches. I've been doing some stuff I haven't posted. I could put together like a 3-minute skit, 3 to 5 minute skit or something.
Yes. Oh my gosh, let's do that.
That's a dope idea, actually.
Yeah, let's do that. Like, I don't know how much time you would need, but
a few days.
A few days? You said a few days? Just a few days? Okay, cool. So let's do like
the sketches are there, right?
Yeah. My sketches are there. We'd have to, I guess, talk to Aisha and see what her schedule looks like, but that would be so much fun.
Do you have kids that keep you busy?
Nope, no kids.
Oh wow, you're still living the life.
So they
I
say.
need to report you. I must report you.
I must what? Report me?
I must report you. Yeah.
Listen, I've already been reported on. They've already told on me.
Not fair, man.
Everyone is out to get me. Don't worry. My mom now, which is very strange because she was never that kind of woman. Like she's always been like a very like severe feminist and just like, you don't have to get married, you don't have to have kids. Like on my wedding day, she was like, you don't have to do this.
Do you think you get your comedy from your mom?
Some of it for sure. Like she's very cheeky and like she's accidentally funny a lot. Like she doesn't even realize that she's being ridiculous. It's just who she is. And so I think sometimes I sort of like see the world through her, and like I have like sort of her perspective or whatever. But yeah, she was like, you don't have to do this. You can back away now. And I'm like, what?
That's like a skit on its own. Like that's like a beginning of a skit, right?
Yeah, she's just like, oh, I'll cover for you. Run. And it's like, run where? We are in the middle of the bush. Like, what are you saying right now? You are crazy, Tindi.
Have you performed in Kenya?
No. When I was there, when was I there? The last time I was there was September, but the time before that, I had made plans to perform, but I don't remember what happened. Something happened and the show got canceled, and so I wasn't able to do it. But yeah,
was it electricity? Might have been electricity.
But probably. Listen.
Was there a power cut?
It's bare bones, okay? We are just trying to make it.
Africa is crazy, but someone was asking, what are the pros and cons of performing in Africa or Europe or US?
Oh,
So
that sounds like a question for you, since you're the one who's
that's
done
why
all
I
of
was
that.
asking. For me, I always perform for the audience that's in the room. So if I'm in China and there's a room full of South Africans, I'll do like a show everybody can understand, even if there's as long as you speak English. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't necessarily go there thinking I've got a set, right? I'll have an idea. So if I go to Montreal and I'm like the only black person in the room, then that's the set that I'm doing.
Yeah.
If I go to New York and there's like a few South Africans and now they're married to Americans, so that's then the material that I do. I did a few sets at the Comedy Cellar, which is almost entirely like tourists, a lot of New Yorkers.
Yeah.
So you'll do a show and you say a gag about England and someone's like, woohoo, I'm from England. You do a gag about. So for me, really, you can put me anywhere in the world as long as they speak English or
Yeah.
understand English. I've done shows in Finland where myself and another comic, Kagiso, were the only black people in the entire town in Turku for like a whole weekend, for like a Thursday to a
Wow.
Monday. So the entire festival was like 30
Everybody
comedians.
knew where y'all were at. The only two black people in the whole festival? Whoa. And the whole town?
In a town called Turku. So it's like a 2-hour drive from Helsinki. So in Helsinki, obviously, there's some black people. Because I always count, like, because when I travel,
I always
and
count.
because
How
of the
many?
places that I go to, I count. I'm like, yeah, well, I went to Milan and I saw 4 black guys, and all they were doing, they were opening and closing doors at Gucci, Burberry, and Louis Vuitton.
Wow.
And
They
I
were the
mean,
door.
it could be the place where I was. I'm sure there's black people somewhere, but when I was there and what I saw,
Yeah.
and I think there was a UEFA champion game or cup or something, and the 4th black guy that I saw was selling vuvuzelas, but the small one, the long vuvuzela, South African. So
Yeah.
those small ones that are like, so that was the 4th one.
Like a mini one?
I'm not making this shit up, right?
Oh
The
my
other black
God.
guy that I saw, I think in Venice, when the Gucci store closes at like 7, 8 p.m., at 8:05, there was a black guy outside selling fake Gucci bags.
Perfect.
So I'm always checking. Even most of my material, I'll check. Like, okay,
Yeah.
looks like I'm the only, or I've only seen, one black person since I got here, and it's just life. It's what it is. I don't try and pretend. I don't see what I'm seeing.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah.
So, but yeah, that was me trying to answer that question. Someone says power, but it's the same David. So he says you must post your sketches. That's a good thing. So we're gonna have a viewing party
You're not
for.
doing the world good if you're not posting your sketches. Listen, you could be the best thing that ever happened after sliced bread. I appreciate that, and I hope I don't disappoint you when I publish these sketches. I understand that. I honestly, like, it's more of like it's a thing that's wrong with me. I'm very well aware. Like, my management, my agents have been like, you have a serious problem. Like, you just won't post your stuff. And I'm like, I know. I'm like, I like to be in contact with people physically. Like I like to be in rooms with them. I like to perform my stand-up live. I like to, when I audition, I like to be in the room, you know, and I think that is sort of the barrier between me and the internet is like, I don't have a place to connect to it. It's like, you just put it up there and then you're kind of just like, all right. Whereas it's like, I want to
your same audience, your comedy audience, you know?
Yeah.
So we've done like a comedy sketch show in South Africa, maybe 15, 16 years ago now. I'll send you some links. You can check it out on YouTube.
Yeah, please do. I would love to see that.
And we've kind of made feature films. I've written, directed a few things.
Yeah.
So I know, like in Hollywood, the agency and management system is a bit different to kind of navigate. You need an agent for every single thing that you're trying to do. But especially now with social media, a lot of that will definitely change, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, you can really make a name for yourself without needing, you know, like without having a manager and agent, by just having your ideas. Like really your ideas are really powerful, and and people shouldn't be scared to share them. And so
listen, we're gonna talk to Aisha. We're gonna have a viewing party for your sketches. We'll each make maybe one sketch each or whatever.
Yes.
And please go ahead if you wanna let people know to follow you. I don't know if you're coming. Oh wow, I locked my wife out. Please take this time to tell everybody to follow you. I'm coming back just now.
Hi everyone. I'm sorry that I'm still in my bonnet. It's not that early in the morning, but I'm lazy and this is a quarantine. My name is Nthenya, and you can follow me on Instagram at I'm Nthenya or Nthenya from Kenya. If you just type that in, that'll pop up. What else am I on? I'm on Facebook. You can holler at me. I respond to DMs. I mean, don't send me any, you know, weird pictures, but I'm totally here to talk to you. I don't want any crotch shots or anything like that, but I definitely want to connect with people. So if you're a comic or a person who's interested in comedy or whatever, holla. I'm here to chat. Oh my God, is this a little person?
Yep, come.
I'm like, am I about to meet a little person?
Yeah, are you little? He's 2 years old.
God.
Say hi.
Hi.
Say hello.
Hi.
Never mind. Bye.
You are adorable. Oh my gosh.
This is number 2.
Hi. Oh my goodness.
Goodbye.
Aren't you adorable too? Wow, what beautiful kids. All dressed up in the quarantine as well. I look like...
Trust me, they're not dressed up.
Oh, that's not dressed up? Oh no.
Here comes the troublemaker.
Oh. Oh, hello. Are you the troublemaker?
She is.
Oh, we're pointing fingers.
No.
Oh, she knuckling up. I saw that. She knuckled up. She's like, I am the trouble. She gonna bring the heat.
Enjoy the moment before you have yours, right?
I know.
Stop it. You're still busy. Thank you so much, hey.
Yes,
it was a
of course.
pleasure to meet you.
Yeah. It was great to meet you.
I'd love to see some of your skits.
Yes,
if you want to send like closed links, private links, you can. I'll check them out.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind at all.
Okay.
And
yeah,
think of those collaborations that we can be doing.
Yes, I would love to.
The Anno Domino tour.
You know what?
The Anno Domino tour after Corona.
Yes. That's the perfect name for the tour. Yes.
Cool. Pleasure to meet you, man.
Great to meet you too. Yes, I'll let you go. Go back to your family.
Awesome.
It was wonderful to
Enjoy
meet you.
LA
Keep
and
in
local
touch.
and be
Yeah,
safe.
we'll do a watch party.
And tell your husband to prepare that lobola money. It might just be collected.
I will. I will. It's definitely very much needed now.
Western Union.
Huh?
M-Pesa.
Yes, M-Pesa. Yes. I need it.
You gotta
That
make a
money,
plan.
let it come.
Awesome. Nice to meet you. So, thank you
Nice
so
to
much.
meet you too.
Awesome.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know how to do this.